Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to first say that I am sorry for being absent for the past several weeks. We were preparing for my baby shower, and then also just getting the house ready for the baby coming, because in case you haven't been following, I am due next week. I actually just got a C-section date, since I have to have a repeat C-section. It's going to be July 1st at 12 noon, so literally like a week from today, or tomorrow. So I apologize for being absent. We just got really busy and caught up with a lot of stuff and appointments and making sure that everything's in order, so that is why you didn't see me for a while. So I did film a little bit at my baby shower, and I did want to make a separate video. I might leave it public for a while, but I also might make it private eventually. I really just want to upload it so I have it, so I can look back on it later. I'm not going to do like a full little blog on it or anything. It'll just be little clips from the baby shower, because I want to remember that. But today I really wanted to talk about something that I got diagnosed with right around my 30-week mark, and it's called Polyhydramnios, and it's something that I had never even heard of before. Nobody in my family has ever heard of it before. Nobody in my husband's part of the family has heard of it before. So I know the last video I said I wanted to talk about that, so that's what I'm going to talk about today. So first off, the way I found out that I had it was let me back up. When I was 8 weeks pregnant, we had went in because I didn't know if I had gotten pregnant a month prior than I thought I had, because if you have been following my videos, you'll know that I actually had a chemical pregnancy, and I just wanted to rule out that it was for sure indeed a chemical pregnancy and I wasn't actually pregnant, because I wound up getting pregnant the next month, right away. So I just wanted to rule that out. While we were at that 8-week appointment, the ultrasound tech had actually told me that there was an excess amount of fluid, and he told me, sometimes that happens in the beginning and it'll go away, but for some reason we never went into it anymore, and until around my 30-week mark. So for whatever reason it got overlooked, but around my 30-week pregnancy mark, I informed my doctor that I was concerned because I was super short of breath all the time. It's something I kept telling my husband, forgive me if I'm breathing weird. I keep losing my breath for some reason. There was also a lot of pain in my lower uterus area, which I just didn't feel like it was normal, and I also felt really extra heavy, and I kept saying this throughout my pregnancy. I guess I never really mentioned it to my doctor, and I probably should have sooner, but I just didn't for whatever reason. But I was feeling extra heavy, and I would tell my husband this, I would tell his mom this, my family this. I constantly was saying I feel so heavy, and this was before I was even showing getting bigger. So I finally told my doctor all of these things, and he right away told me, this sounds like polyhydramnios. He's and he measured my belly and everything, and he said, it seems like you might have an excess amount of fluid. And so I told him, I was the ultrasound tech told me that at my 8-week appointment, and he was kind of surprised. I don't know why we overlooked it after that, but he was surprised that we didn't keep track of it. So he wound up referring me to an ultrasound specialist, and when I went to the ultrasound specialist, that's how we found out that there was definitely too much amniotic fluid. I was way above the normal levels, and while we were there at that appointment, they actually checked the baby to ensure that he was developing properly and that everything was fine with me as well, which everything was, thankfully. So the following week at my doctor's appointment, my regular weekly doctor's appointment, they ran blood tests to ensure that the fluid wasn't leaking or mixing in with my blood, and this was his main concern, because if it did leak into my bloodstream, that could actually be fatal for myself. Thankfully it wasn't. I was fine. He also took a culture to make sure that there was no uterus infections, because a lot of times when women have excess fluid, for some reason you get infections in your uterus. But we tested all of that, and everything came back that I was completely fine, so that was good. So I wanted to just go over a couple of facts that my doctor went over with me. I actually have everything written down here, so I know I keep looking down. It's because I'm looking at my notes because it's a lot, and I know I'm not going to remember if I just try to go off my memory. So the actual definition of polyhydramnios is it is the excessive accumulation of amniotic fluid, the fluid that surrounds the baby in the uterus, which occurs in about 1 to 2% of pregnancies. So, of course, again, just like my morning sickness, I was that 1 to 2%. Some common side effects of polyhydramnios are shortness of breath, preterm labor, uterine discomfort or contractions, and heaviness of uterus. All right, some common causes. It could be related to birth defects that are related to gastrointestinal tract or central nervous system of the baby. It could be caused by maternal diabetes, lack of red blood cells in the baby, or blood in incompatibilities between the mom and the baby, or infections during pregnancy. I was checked for all of these, and thankfully I didn't have any of those going on with me. So my doctor literally just said sometimes, women just have an excess amount of fluid and there's just no reason for it, and they go through a whole pregnancy and they're fine. So far it seems like that's what's going on with me. I'm fine. I just have a couple of those side effects, but thankfully I'm fine and baby's fine, and that's what's most important. All right, some of the possible common complications: premature birth again, or your water could break early, placental abruption, where the placenta peels away from the inner wall of the uterus before delivery, stillbirth, heavy bleeding due to lack of uterine muscle tone after delivery. So those are some of the common complications that can happen due to having an excessive amount of amniotic fluid. We had caught this at 8 weeks, of course, but I wasn't watched closely for it until around my 30-week mark, when I started telling my doctor that I was having weird symptoms, and we figured out that it was this. But since around my 30-week mark, I've been going in weekly, and I get my blood drawn, and they're checking, of course, to make sure that no amniotic fluid is mixing with my blood flow. My doctor also each week checks for any infections with my uterus, and we also do a stress test on the baby, and that's just to make sure that everything's going okay and that there is nothing wrong with me or the baby, because of course some of these complications can occur at any time. Thankfully everything's been fine though, and of course we're only a week away, so I'm not too stressed out about it. I have a feeling I got lucky, and for whatever reason I have that excess amount of fluid, but it hasn't affected the baby or myself in a very serious way, which is great. I'm very thankful for that. Last thing I wanted to say, this is sort of just like a side note. There's no proof behind this, but I was talking to my husband about it, and I told him that I felt like, because since there is no reason for it, I was wondering how many women have like a chemical pregnancy or just get pregnant and miscarry for whatever reason, and then get pregnant right away right after. I was wondering how many of those women have an excess amount of fluid, because I just felt like I wonder if this is related to that, because your body's supposed to get rid of everything, and the chemical pregnancy, pretty much my body was preparing itself for a baby, and of course there was no baby, so it stopped. But I wound up getting pregnant again right away, and I was just kind of curious, I wonder if this happened because my body started to get rid of everything but then didn't have time to fully get rid of everything because I got pregnant right away, so it went back into the mode of preparing for a baby again. So I don't know, that was just a curious thought that I wanted to throw out there. And again, there's no proof behind that, so that's just me and my curiosity running wild. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I am gonna, again, I told you guys, if you want to see some highlights from my baby shower, I'll be posting that in a separate video. Probably right around the same time as I'm going to post this one. I also am going to do another video, hopefully in the next couple days. I wanted to post it before I go into the hospital on July 1st, of my hospital bag and my the bag that I'm going to pack for my little one, because this is going to be his first time spending the night with grandma while we are in the hospital doing the C-section, and of course recovery days after that. So I wanted to make a video like that. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'm happy to be back. And sorry, I feel like it got a little cut off, but I just wanted to say yeah, I'll talk to you guys later in the next video, and I hope you guys continue watching. Thank you.